case of chain passing.
On the overlap.
Brazil will score.
Dummies and goes. Tyrone Roberts. That is his specialty.
Hello everyone, welcome to Rabbs'S Rant for round 25 of the National Rugby League, and we should have an idea of the top 8 after this weekend, or be a little bit clearer as to the makeup of the top 8, because gee, there's some crucial games this weekend. Starting tonight at 7:30 right here on NBN with the Bulldogs and the Rabbs'S. Now the Bulldogs effectively could drop outside the top 8 if they happen to lose this one and lose next week. Now the Rabbs'S on the other hand can cement a top 4 spot, so it's a very, very important game for both clubs for very different reasons. The Rabbs'S, I think, will start favourites, and I think they will get the chocolates against the Doggies. Two very, very good packs. George Burgess comes back for the Rabbs'S. That will give them a little bit of starch. I think the Rabbs'S might just pip the Bulldogs tonight. Tomorrow night, the Broncos and the Dragons. Now, simple equation here. The loser is done and dusted for 2014, and I think that might be the Dragons. Up there at Suncorp Stadium, the Broncos are a very, very good football side. They grow an arm and a leg up there. Justin Hodges has been a bit of a revelation at fullback. I think they'll continue their very good form that they showed against the Knights last week, and I expect the Broncos to win. The Knights and Parramatta. Parramatta don't play well at Hunter Stadium. The Knights have always seemed to have the wood on Parramatta, but it's a very different Parramatta side this year on the back of Jarryd Hayne. However, I am going to tip the Knights, not just for Alex, but I think they can win. It's still a very, very good side. Tamana Tahu comes onto the bench for the Newcastle Knights, playing against one of his old clubs, Parramatta, and I think the Knights at home may just shade Parramatta, and that will put a real dent in their finals chances. The Raiders and the Tigers, it's almost a case of who cares, really. Both clubs have really, really struggled. A lot of clubs have put a lot of points on the Tigers in recent weeks. The Raiders will be buoyed a little bit by getting the 2 points against the Sharks, but certainly nothing to write home about. It was a terrible game of footy, but I think the Raiders might just get the chocolates against the Tigers. The Roosters and the Storm, undoubtedly the match of the round and undoubtedly one of the matches of the season. The Roosters are starting to find their mojo. SBW, OMG, is back in the side. He played last week and he will really add some starch to that Roosters side. The Storm were very, very good against Penrith on Monday night, but I just fancy the Roosters. This could go either way. Dead set, a flip of the coin. Roosters for mine, just. Warriors and the Titans, the Warriors have too much to play for. A win here would almost certainly cement their place in the top 8. The Titans, they have nothing to play for. They've got some injury woes, and as Greg Bird said during the week, he just can't wait for the season to finish. Warriors for mine in a bit of a canter. The Seagulls and Panthers, other very, very good match. Now, Penrith play very well at Brookvale. At Brookvale in the last 8 games, it's 4-4. So don't write off the Panthers. But I just think, as we said last week, the Storm showed up some deficiencies in the Panthers side, given on the back of all of their injury problems, and Seguiaro going home for his father, Ife Seguiaro's funeral during the week. He's still not right. He probably won't play in the game. I'm leaning towards the Seagulls to win that one. Finally, I've never heard of a side giving 30.5 start to a side, but that's what the Cowboys are giving the Sharks on Monday night. This could be an absolute cricket score. The Cowboys are still a chance of getting into that top 4. They have got the 3rd best for and against in the competition. They will increase that massively on Monday night against the Sharks. It's going to be a long trip to Townsville for the Cronulla Sharks. Good luck with your tips this weekend, and don't forget tonight, 7:30 right here on NBN, and then tomorrow night at 7:30, the Broncos and the Dragons.